What's up, Nerf Nation? It's your boy Normatico here, and we are back with another blaster unboxing and review. Today, we're actually going to be looking at the Mark IV Pro of the Dart Zone series. And this blaster, it is something to behold. Not going to lie there, it is pretty big. Now, the Mark IV, when it was originally released, retailed at around $180 last year, and that dropped down to right around the $130 range. Dart Zone sells it on their website right now on a Dart Zone deal of $117.99 per. However, not to be outdone, Walmart dropped their price from the $129 to $89.99 recently, and I said, you know what? Half off the original price, deal. So I picked up the Dart Zone Mark IV Pro. So this blaster, like I said, it is pretty gigantic. It does promote distances and speeds of up to 200 feet per second, and it comes with 30 of the Dart Zone Bamboo 2X darts. Now, those darts are pretty pricey. They are supposedly an upgrade over the Dart Zone 2.0 bamboo darts, the purple tips. These have a red tip and are supposedly spongier and firmer. Those darts also come with the Solo, and from what I can tell, having used those in the past, they do perform just a little bit better than the 2.0 darts. So we're going to test out the Dart Zone 2X darts with this bad boy and see how it performs. Now, it does come with a couple of things. It does come with a longer muzzle, and they say that the prime is pretty decent, and it has a prime indicator, and it comes with two springs, much like the 1.2. One is the 200 FPS spring, and then one that boosts it down to a competition-friendly 120. Though, I'll be honest with you, where I play at competitively, we hit the 250 ranges, so we'll see. Now, you also do get a Pro Mask in this blaster, so that's kind of good, and from my understanding, the Pro Mask is eyeglass friendly, so yay, Dart Zone! Let's go ahead and actually open up this box because they usually have spectacular packaging inside of them. And inside the box, of course, we have the foam inlay, which is really nice. You have your instructions that not only tells you everything that you have, but it also shows you how to operate the blaster. And much like other Dart Zone products, you get a catalog of what the different dart types are. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In this catalog, it'll show you the standard length darts. Unfortunately, you cannot find those anymore with any of the dart lines, with the exception of original original bamboo darts. You can find those on eBay now and then. And you can find the Max Ruby darts in standard lengths. They do not sell Ember darts at full length or the Bamboo 2s. Those only came with the blasters. So if you lose them, good luck finding them. But if you're using these blasters, you're not really using standard length darts anyways. So let's put those to the side. Of course, you have your blaster here. There's no real plastic holding things down from what I can see. And that's good because you have the form-fitting foam. But here is the core part of the blaster itself. Let's move this to the side. That is a pretty decent weight there. You have your iPro. Yay. And that, of course, does come with a film on it. Let me go ahead and remove that now just for my own purposes. Because, yeah. Yay. You have a 30-pack of the darts. I'm glad that you don't have to tear into this necessarily. We have our tactical sights here. That's pretty tight in there. Wow, these are pretty decent sights. Pop-up sight. Okay. All right. I see what they did there with that. And there's your front sight. And they fold down. So that is really neat. I dig this. I really dig that. You have a transparent shell, which is very good. That way you can actually keep tabs of how many darts you've gone through. And they give you 2 of the 15-round magazines. This is fantastic. It does not look to be Talon compatible, but that's okay. Probably means that the blaster itself is natively Talon compatible. And it looks like you got some weird little marking here and some sticker on here. I guess that's for decoration. Labeling your blaster when you mount it on the wall, I suppose. That's interesting. Oh no, I guess, well, wait, no. Huh. That came on here, and it must have fallen out when I opened up the blaster. All right, that'll work too. This is the accelerator barrel attachment. That's cool. our weaker spring that, wow, that's really flimsy. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'll be using this one to be honest, but I'll add it to my spring collection. Who knows? And then we have our plastic scar barrel, which is all right, our P-car, and 2 additional O-rings just in case yours become damaged. I will add this to my O-ring collection, and I will add this to my P-car collection. So will this fit here on the blaster itself? It does not, but it will fit if you are not using the actual attachment. So it fits on the main body of the blaster. We were going to actually run numbers and see how it performs with the P-car versus the barrel. I'll be honest with you, I'm curious. And I'm going to also test to see if the B-car that they sell, the aftermarket B-car, does fit on here. So let me move this big box out of the way and we'll continue with assembling this blaster. Okay, so assembling the blaster, of course, it comes in several parts as I've shown you. Now, first thing I want to test is if this will handle the B-car. So with the standard attachment, no, it does not. Let me go ahead and actually take off this part right here. No, it still does not fit. So the answer is no. This B-car will not work with this muzzle attachment. However, with the core blaster, you will see that it does fit just fine inside of there. Like so. That stands to reason because if this piece fits, the other piece should fit as well. Now, all right. Of course, you have our sights, which, just like traditional Picatinny rails, should just go ahead and slide right on this bad boy. And it just clicks right on. The way that this is made, it does stick on there, but it does not slide around freely. So you have to actually apply pressure to move it back and forth, just like most other Dart Zone blasters. This is pretty good. And it does lay down like so. And of course, it does come with a little spring activated mechanism here that you just push, and that sight pops up. In case you've ever used a pop-up sight before, that is how they work. And then, of course, the rear sight goes back here when it wants to. Did they make this so that it has to be loaded from the front? Just my luck. They did. Let's try it this way. All right, so it's easier to load from the front and pull to the back than it is to put from the back and go to the front. Don't ask me why. It just seems that way. But of course, you have the muzzle here that should just slide right in here. So much like an actual normal end strike barrel attachment, you slide that in and it rotates and it clicks into place. So here you have an assembled blaster, and this thing is pretty gigantic. I would have to measure this thing at, well, let's get an accurate measurement really quick. So I'd have to measure this thing at right around, let's see here, a little bit more than 41 inches long. So that is a pretty decent sized blaster. That's about 3.5 feet. So yeah, this is a pretty decent blaster. Of course, you do have the trigger safety right here, and you do have a mag release that is pretty close to where your hand is going to be at. So it looks like you just have to move your middle finger from the actual handle itself in order to activate the mag release. That's pretty comfortable. Priming it, that is a very easy prime. If this is a 200 FPS blaster and that's how simple the prime is, oh my gosh, we're in business. And that sounds amazing. Now, of course, there is the spring that you can see when it is primed. And as you can see, there is some compression there in the spring. So yes, that is the priming indicator. We can take that. It does say that it has a B-car storage here. I will show you where that is once we switch views and you see the blaster in my hands. All right, so here's the blaster in my hands. As you can see, if I don't move back, that muzzle is going to go right into the camera. This is how big this blaster is. It's huge. That's what she said. Now, the P-car, or B-car if you want to store it back here, I suppose, it does store right here in the actual stock itself. And it has a little spot right here for it. It just clips right in. and as such. Now, I did say something about a B car. Let's see if the B car fits in here. Seeing how this works now, I doubt it's going to, but let's test it out. And that is a big, well, wait a minute. Can we make it fit? I mean, technically it closes. Technically that's closed. But if you run around, this is going to pop off. So I would not use this to store a V car. Probably use the Nexus Pro X attachment attached to the Picatinny rail. That way the B car has a mount for it on the side. Modern problems require modern solutions, folks. Now, as I said, the prime on this blaster, it is very comfortable. That is really good. If we're hitting 200 FPS with that smooth of a prime, oh my gosh. And now, I will tell you that the complaints from this blaster have been that the targeting sights are not that good. I think that that's just that people were not lining them up properly and zeroing them in, mainly because these sights are not the easiest things to work with. This reminds me of the sight that came with the Raptor Strike that a lot of people complained about. However, a lot of people just did not know how to aim with these particular sights. So I'm going to try it out and let you know what my thoughts are on about them, because some of these sights are very familiar for me. You use these sights when you go hunting all the time for long distance shots. You have to adjust your angle. You have to adjust everything and zero it in properly based on how you aim. It's not just a traditional sight. So this is a actual sniper sight. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and put a actual scope on here. I'm going to test out both to see what I think. But yeah, of course, you can't just use straight up iron sights like this because there is a notch on the back. And you see the little part that pops up here. You can center that as if it's an iron sight for closer distances. So that is how that works. I'm excited to put this sucker through its paces and see just how well she performs. So hold on a moment and we'll be back with the chronograph test. Distance test with the Mark IV Pro. I'll be honest with you, I kind of did something stupid here and I left the magazine behind at home when I came out here. So I'm going to actually have to load this one manually by flipping it over, loading the dart directly into the magwell. Oh, making sure that it lines up properly and it doesn't bounce around. And then have the breech push it in. Now, I do have G-Rex out there in the distance. He's going to make sure that we do not clear the parking lot, and if we do, he'll be able to find this dart because these are quite expensive, and I don't have very many to replace them. So, yeah, let's test it out. Angle shot. Did you see where it landed? All right, stay right there. Well, he's such a good helper, folks. Now we're gonna do the straight shot. I'll be honest, the thing fires at such a velocity, I cannot see when this dart leaves the barrel, so. Let me go measure this distance. We'll be back with those numbers. All right, so angled shot, we hit 210 feet of a maximum distance. The straight shot got 110 feet, so quite the performance out of the Dart Zone Mark IV Pro. So I like it. Up next, the accuracy test with this blaster and my final thoughts regarding it. 'Back inside with an accuracy test on the Mark IV Pro. Let's take a look at how this blaster performs. So far, I am very impressed with this blaster. We are testing from about 27 feet. Target distance is there. That's the basket. That's what we're aiming for. I'm going to be trying to utilize the iron sights here, or I should say the flip-up sights, to see how accurate these can be. I've heard a lot of people have complained about them, but I might have gotten them zeroed in. Let's take a look. Thankfully, Ms. Normatico is not here, so she's not going to yell that I'm shooting a very pro blaster in the house. Ten for 10 using the sights. I don't know what the heck y'all are talking about. This blaster is amazing. Okay, so here are my final thoughts regarding the Dart Zone Pro Mark 4.0. Let's just call it the Mark IV, folks. You know what? It hit all the numbers that I needed it to hit. It promotes 200. I hit over 200. It went over 200 feet of distance. There's that. The accuracy of the Bamboo 2X darts is unparalleled. 10 for 10. You know what? I'm good with this. Now, I want to address a couple of concerns that people have had with this blaster, because there are people that left some negative reviews regarding the sights. You know what? Cope. Get good. These sights, there's nothing wrong with them once you learn how to use them. Now, the issue that a lot of people have is that they don't realize that you need to lower this down depending on what angle you're going to be firing from. Obviously, you're going to be firing from a higher angle, or if you rest your cheek higher, you're going to want to set this up higher. However, if you rest it low, you want to angle it straight so that it is literally that center goes through that center. This little tip, just put it maybe a half of a degree above the target, and you are dead center all the time. It's simple. I don't know what everyone's complaining about. Or if you can't do that, flip it down, use the iron sights. Other than that, and I really hate to sound like this, people, but get good, all right? I will always be critical of something that's a bad product. This is not a bad product. Now, I don't want to sound like Dart Zone fanboy, because guess what? If you see my reviews, I will call out Dart Zone for what it is sometimes. I'm not saying that they're a bad company. I think they're a good company. They make some excellent blasters. But to think that they are infallible compared to, say, Hasbro, that's just wrong. And I'm not saying that Hasbro is infallible, because they're not. We all know this. But to hold them at such a high pedestal just because they're Dart Zone, not fair. However, I am not going to bash on this blaster. Let's talk about who it is for. It is 14 and up. It is a pro level blaster. Stick to it. Can it be primed easily? Absolutely. G-Rex at 11 years old, he loves the prime on this thing. What he doesn't like is how freaking huge it is, because it is not made for an 11-year-old size. Can he hold it? Technically, yeah. Is it ungainly and unwieldy for him? Absolutely. This is a very long stretch for him, and even for me, for a full-grown adult, that is a decent stretch to grab this front grip. With him, he has to pull on back here, and that is not exactly what it's made for, but with small hands, that's fine. Adults should be able to grip this perfectly. I will tell you, for a 200 FPS blaster, this prime, it is unbelievable. Like, severely unbelievable. I have the Nexus Pro X. I believe that that's actually it right there on my wall. And that prime is really smooth for a 200 FPS blaster. But this one, it's like, it's butter. It is just perfect. It slips right down, right back up, and you are ready to go. I would have to say that you apply less than maybe 1.5 pounds of pressure on this to get this to prime. So it is just amazing. Again, I can't say how good this blaster is. I love it. Mwah. Now, where is this blaster going to be used? Not indoors, folks. 200 FPS ranges. Yeah, it is fast. It is very fast. It is, if you're not paying attention as to when that dart comes out, you're not going to see it. I actually had a hard time keeping track of where I was firing it, even for the distance test, which, of course, mind you, I did forget the magazine at home when I took it out to the range, but even then, I had to have G-Rex see where it actually launched the darts at, because I could not see them come out because they left the dart barrel so quickly. So there's that. That's why you don't want to use it indoors. Also, at 200 FPS indoors, unless you're in a massive arena indoors, you're going to be in close quarters, and that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And again, 200 FPS, that is what it promotes. As you can see by the chronograph test, it got well above that. I believe at one point in time I hit 220s. So that's a decent blaster. When is this blaster going to be used? You know what? It does come with a downgrade spring. I didn't really test that one because honestly, I have plenty of 150 blasters. And if I wanted to go to 150, I would probably use my 1.2 with a downgraded spring, but not with this because it's kind of unwieldy. It is for the 250 FPS rounds. The accuracy, you know what? I will put this one up against a Caliburn, and 9 times out of 10 with this one, you will probably beat the Caliburn because of the fact that they are both hitting roughly the same numbers, but the accuracy on this thing and how easy it is to prime compared to a Caliburn, it's there. And I'm not insulting the Caliburn, mind you. I love my Caliburn when it works. But this straight out of the box without having to do any major maintenance on it, it is fantastic. Moddability of it. Obviously, it is made to be modded. It is made to be downgraded. However, there are people out there that have actually pushed it to the limit. There is talk that with simple little fixtures here and adding a couple of extra holes here and there for more airflow, you can actually get this thing to hit the 300 FPS range. That is something I might look into later on because I am crazy like that. So we will see. I believe, and I'm going to call out another YouTube here because he does awesome work sometimes, Wacom. I believe he's the one who actually did that. So check out his channel if you wanted to see how to do that. I might follow along and see if I can do what he did to put this baby through its paces and take it to its ultimate level. So, is it worth the price? $180 is what this blaster retailed at when it first came out. That is a very steep price as far as I'm concerned for a out-of-box blaster that is mass-made. Mainly because there are other blasters that I could get for right around that price range that are in the 3D printed blasters and they're more original, and I'm okay with that. Now, $120, looking back on it now, this is worth it. This is definitely worth it. $89.99, that is a must-buy for anybody who's a avid blaster collector like myself. This is going to end up on my wall of fame as far as I'm concerned, and yeah, it's going to stay there for quite a while because, again, this is a fun blaster. I will tell you, it's fun. And I will tell you that even with this long extension, it is worth it. Just one of those things. Work on your arms, I guess your arm span, and just aim and go. Because again, you're gonna enjoy this. I do want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting.